It's a trap! Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast, where we are just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. This is episode 264, and it is a Star Wars celebration. Actually, can they sue us for saying that? Well, that's why we have Cycling.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's make him earn his fucking money. He's been lazy lately.
He really has.
Getting fat on his cockiness. He's starting to look and act like Jabba the Hutt, if I'm being honest.
I mean, and that's not like the Jabba that could walk in or that could slither in the remake of New Hope.
What's the name of the dude who like just is his yes man? It was like the curly back of his head.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like
people at home are screaming right now. Like you're doing a Star Wars episode and you don't know that guy's name. No, sorry.
Yeah, but that's like a super obscure guy. So like, calm the fuck down, okay?
Bib Fortuna.
It's like at least an 800 on. That's right, that guy. Yeah, that's like an $800 question on Jeopardy, though.
I agree, at the minimum. All right, guys, here on the Bro 4 Squad podcast, we can't start until we introduce our fellow bro, and even though you already heard from him, that is the mad scientist, Brian Banner. Brian, I have to ask, is it our company policy as well as the Empire's that we just do not shoot down any escape pod unless it has life forms in it?
Yeah, that's actually a galactic rule. You're not allowed to under punishment of torture. So, we don't make the rules. We just play by the game. You know what I mean?
I don't agree with that law or rule at all. And since I wasn't there when they voted on it, I'm not going to follow it like the American colonists.
Fair enough. I can't argue with you.
All right, Boehner, tonight, special Star Wars themed episode. Part of the impetus for this was the Mandalorian and Grogu film being released in theaters tomorrow, which you're actually going to see it. Is it tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm excited. Go see it tomorrow.
Nice. Hopefully you can do what I was unable to do for Solo: A Star Wars Story, and even though you're going on opening night, don't have a kid spoil it for you in the restroom before you walk into the movie.
Joke's on them. I just won't pee. I'll just pee myself.
Joke's not on them there, though. I feel like you're the one losing in that situation. You're not victorious over them.
At least it won't be spoiled.
True. All right, what we're doing tonight, and I'll post this afterwards so fans can see it. Banner and I are going to do a little draft. We haven't done one of these in a long time. It's been a minute. This is a Star Wars, what are we calling it? Just
I would say
draft?
Yeah, I would say visual media, because we're not including any of the books, maybe.
And everything here is canon as well.
Correct.
I'll come up with a better name for the title for it, but we're basically going to draft all of the Star Wars properties until we each get a team of 7, and then we can have the debate going forward as to who drafted the better team. So we're drafting between all of the live-action movies, the animated shows, and the live-action shows. The animated shows, the ones which are canon. I know there was like a anime-looking one that was on Cartoon Network. There's that like Tales of the Jedi, which is an anthology series. So even though I think that is canon, we're not including that in this.
Yeah, those are great, but I don't think they would have made the list anyway, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Also, I guess if you want, we can add the Clone Wars movie, the animated movie, because that is canon and leads into the show.
Yeah, we could throw that bad boy in there.
So, do you know the actual title of that?
The Clone Wars. It's really confusing because it's the exact same as the show.
Okay. Well, we'll note that. All right, we're going to do this snake style, which with 2 people is kind of, it's very rapid fire regardless of how you do it. But here, someone will basically always be willing to pick back to back. So 7 properties each to see who gets the best team. So, Banner, you're going to make me go first because you're just being a little bitch?
Yeah, bitch is my middle name, man.
God damn it. Now, let's make one thing clear before we get started here. And this is probably always going to be our criteria for any list that we make. I am not drafting what I think people think are the best movies and properties. I'm drafting my favorites.
That is how I went about it as well. I took into consideration our 5 Bro 4 Squad criterion. But at the end of the day, I have the right to override whatever I decided on the criteria.
Yeah. Okay. So when I draft one, I don't, because we're big prequel heads on this show, man. And I actually think it's only gotten worse as the years have gone on.
It really has.
So there might be some heavy, I mean, it probably, maybe not early. I don't want to speak for you, but there's going to be some prequel love shown here. So just people prepare yourself for that. If that triggers you, don't tune off. We need the views and money, but maybe just mute us for a little while. All right, first pick here, Banner, is a lot of pressure. You don't want to put this movie in a bad spot and make it a bust. I think I'm going to actually have to go with probably my intro as a human being into sci-fi films, and it really just opened my eyes, and it was like losing your virginity, which still hasn't happened to me, but I can imagine this is what it's like. And I'm going to go with Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. And a lot of people might disagree with this, but I think it is the best Star Wars movie. I like Empire. I think it's overrated. I might actually put Jedi over it. In fact, I think I probably would. But A New Hope for me is far and away my favorite Star Wars movie. So I got to make sure it's on my team. I'm going to pick it first.
Great pick. I'll just say that.
Thank you.
All right. So I get back-to-backs here, right? Are we defending why we put something in this spot, or why we're picking that one?
I think if you feel like you need to, I'm probably just going to give a brief, maybe not justification, but rationalization for each pick.
Okay. This one, in my opinion, blows our 5 criteria out of the water. I think that it has a great cast. I think that the story is, while it's confusing at times and we probably don't need it, it's interesting to me. I think it has one of the best scenes in all of Star Wars. I think the rewatchability is there, and for an entire generation, this was our A New Hope. And then I'm going with the Phantom Menace here.
Wow. Nice.
We said we were going to give some prequel love. I had to get it out of the gate.
I mean, has there ever been a more anticipated trailer?
No, I mean, ask Shallow Hal.
Great comparison, yeah. Because even
how
the
much
Force
money did that movie made so much money because the Phantom Menace trailer was before it.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Because even the Force Awakens one, when we knew they were bringing people back, like our generation, which is the biggest and largest movie-going generation of all time, statistically, had the prequels before. So we still had kind of that, some people's bad taste in their mouth. But that was like, Star Wars had never done wrong when the Phantom Menace trailer came out. You know, it was perfect. Because the holiday special is obviously cinematic genius.
Naturally.
Yeah, so that trailer, when the breathing happens at the end, you're just like, oh my fucking God. And that was before you could really see trailers before, or they would like leaked online. Like that just didn't happen. You had to, like you said,
you had to go to see it. Yeah.
And you had to see Shallow Hal, unfortunately. All right, Banner. All right. You're up again.
My number 2, and I think that this is really where the universe is built. And this is why we have a lot of what we have today. And I'm going with the Clone Wars show.
Okay.
For my number 2 pick.
Yeah, very, very solid.
Like I said, I know it's long, and I know that you have the argument of, oh, I shouldn't have to watch 7 seasons of a show to feel something in a different movie. The movie should give that to me. Well, you know what? If you actually watch the show, you would feel differently.
Also, yes, it's long, but never at any point does it feel like it's dragging. Like every episode, even if it's a quote unquote filler episode, like you're still taken to a different part of the Star Wars universe, and there's always action in it. Like it doesn't necessarily follow the clones in each episode, but there's some recognizable Star Wars character, and it really just expands the world in a non-annoying way where you're like, oh my gosh, I have to keep up with this now. You just know it's a war, and so there's battles happening on multiple fronts, which is really cool.
Yeah. All right, Orns, what you got for your number 2 pick?
All right, I actually thought about taking this first overall, but as you do in any like fantasy draft, I was thinking I don't think Banner will take it in his first 2, so I don't want to reach for it, and I want to grab it on the wraparound. And that is what I think is the best Star Wars movie that's come out, I don't know, 20 years, and that's Rogue One, A Star Wars Story.
Wow.
And you know, Banner, partially because I am a sucker for two types of films, heist movies and movies that take place in one night. And this is not taking place in one night, of course, but the first one. Do you think... Thank you. Do you think this movie was made entirely to fix the plot hole in A New Hope? Or do you think that just sort of set off the idea of like, did you know what would be sick actually seeing the heist that led to this movie?
I think it's a combination of both. I think that it was hey, what's a story that we can tell in the Star Wars universe that is compelling? And it's, well, A New Hope is all predicated on the Death Star plans, right?
Yes.
How did we get the Death Star plans? What was that major battle that we just get the little blurb in the scroll? So I think that it was convenient to fix the plot hole, but it was actually to show us how they got the plans.
Also, Krennic and Galen Erso are just great additions to the Star Wars universe. I think they do really well.
Great actors, great characters.
Mm-hmm. All right, third pick. I feel good about this, stacking my team. And I'm going to go to the reason that many people subscribed to Disney Plus in the first place. You will see the culmination of it this Friday, The Mandalorian, with my third pick. Joining Rogue One and Episode 4, A New Hope. And I think the idea of a Star Wars live-action show that was canon and featured the Mandalorians was pretty fucking sick. I don't think, at least me, maybe I was way out of the loop even as a Star Wars fan, but I don't think any of us thought that we were going to get or fall in love with Grogu as much as we did, who probably now is like the star of the show. So double whammy there with The Mandalorian. And I mean, it's probably been Disney's most successful Star Wars property like since Rogue One, I would say, even though Rogue One I don't feel like got the credit it deserved, but they've gotten panned really hard for the sequel trilogy, and I'd say every other show they've gotten at least some heavy criticism for. But The Mandalorian seems to be a relatively universally loved. So, I mean, case in point, it's the only show they've made that's getting a movie. So the proof is in the pudding there.
Yeah, I think there's one other one that is
true.
Might have been received better than this. And I think I might go with it for my third pick, actually. Hold on. Let me review my notes here. Yeah, I'm going to go with it here at 3. And I think, in my opinion, it may not be the most... You already put it on there. Yeah, Andor. I think that it may not be the most successful. I think Mandalorian is a little bit more successful. But I think Andor, especially season 2, is damn near close to a perfect season of cinema or of TV shows.
Well, I think what Andor is going to do, again, unless I'm way out of the loop on the news, is avoid the Mandalorian problem of probably running a little bit too long. Mm-hmm. Because it's, I mean, there's a tight window they're squeezing it in because it has to run into Rogue One. And season 2 was like almost too good to be Star Wars. It was like Tony Gilroy. I was like, dude, you're crushing it too hard. Like, this is like a serious political drama that's like set in the Star Wars universe. I wasn't ready for this.
I wasn't either.
I love Andor. And I don't think we're getting another season, right? There's really no way they could even do it.
I don't think there's any way they can do it because it leads right up to where we meet Andor in Rogue One. So yeah. I think, I think if you watch Andor right into Rogue One, right into A New Hope, granted, that's a lot of watching, but man, what a fucking run of a timeline right there.
Yeah, insane. All right, Banner, you're back up.
Okay.
Fourth pick. By the way, your team so far, Phantom Menace, The Clone Wars, and Andor. Who's joining them?
Okay. I think I'm going to have to go here. And I think this is because at the time that it came out, this might have been the biggest plot twist ever. Literally, nobody has seen it. And I'm going to go with Empire. I think that it, for our generation, because we grew up knowing Vader was Luke's father, right? Like, it wasn't this huge reveal because I am you, Luke, I am your father, I am your father. Like, it was a saying that people said. And so you kind of our generation already knew it. But when it first came out, I mean, the significance of what it was is absolutely fucking wild.
I think Cycly is rolling over in his grave that Empire made it to the 9th pick in the draft. And there are people out there that are probably shocked of this. Yeah, I mean, it was, as far as sequels go, too, it might still be the greatest sequel of all time. I don't know. We have to, maybe The Dark Knight is up there as well.
Yeah. Terminator 2 is in that role.
Ah, true. There's a couple solid ones.
Yeah.
Backdoor Sluts 2.
Naturally.
Or I guess does not Backdoor Sluts 9 count as a sequel? Or it's just part of the franchise.
I mean, it's a sequel to Backdoor Sluts 8.
They almost work as one movie, really, if you watch them. It's a good double bill.
It is.
All right, I'm up at number 4, joining A New Hope, Rogue One, and The Mandalorian will be this next pick. Banner, I'm trying really hard not to reach for something here. You might know what I'm thinking of. Damn, it gets tough. I feel like there was like, sometimes in drafts, they say like at this pick, there's going to be a big drop off in talent. And that's kind of what I'm looking at right now.
Kind of where we're at right now. That was kind of what I felt. I felt like I had to take Empire because it was kind of, it's I guess, the high-hanging fruit that was left.
Yeah. All right. I think this is the best available. And it definitely has one of the coolest third acts of any Star Wars movie. I'm just going to go kind of chalk here. I'm going to go Return of the Jedi. Play it safe. I as a kid, I was such a huge fan of the battle happening on 3 fronts at the end, where you have the sort of more psychological, but there is obviously the lightsaber battle of Palpatine, Vader, and Luke. Then obviously you have everything happening on Endor, which was really, really cool. And then the coolest, I still think, space battle, even better than the trench run at Return of the Jedi, where they try and blow up the 2nd Death Star. And of course, Admiral Akbar from the beginning of the show is there. So that helps.
Yeah, this is the one that I liked way better as a kid. As I got older, it didn't age as well.
Yeah.
Still a good pick here, though.
Yeah, I think between Empire and Jedi, Luke, I get character development can happen off screen, but dude, he is a completely different fucking character. And it's kind of jarring in the beginning. Like the Tatooine stuff, you're like, this is Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, I agree. The first act is not as good as I remembered it as a kid.
No. Yeah,
but they write the ship in the 2nd and the 3rd act.
For sure. All right, 5, I got to do it. I mean, I'm looking at what's left, and this, I mean, if it wasn't so recent, you probably have to talk me out of taking this like way earlier. Banner, I'm going to go Maul Shadow Lord.
Man, took it from me.
Yeah, I knew this would not make it another round, so I had to grab it.
Yeah,
I mean,
how much does that say that it's made the list and we have 1 season of it?
Yeah. I'm going to go no spoilers here because it is fairly new for those who haven't seen it. But I know that Dave Filoni, just kind of like everything, like the longer you're around and do something, especially with the Star Wars fandom, people are just going to find something to criticize you for. And he's been sort of attacked for just playing too much to fan service, which you and I have never understood because I'm a fan. Service me, if you know what I'm saying.
100%.
And in this one, I think he did an incredible job of giving us some real, like, what the fuck? That's awesome that you did that moments. But also, he fleshes out a character that we've always been nervous. Like, Darth Maul's cool as shit. But we're like, man, if we learn too much about him, does he become not cool? Right? Like with everything. Like, when the mystery is gone, or like, what if his backstory is fucking stupid? Or he just is dumb? Do we not like him anymore? But as he's become like this legendary crime syndicate who also is really, really damaged emotionally and physically, I've just found everything about him to just be cooler and cooler and cooler. Unlike some villains across media where the more you get of them, you're like, okay, fucking stop. I get it. Like Michael Myers, for example. Opposite with Darth Maul, and Maul Shadow Lord just, for me, crushed it in every regard. And I know you loved it too. You actually told me to watch it.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. I'm super excited for the next season of it to come out.
Yep. All right, Banner, what's your number 5 pick joining Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, Andor, and Empire?
I think I have to go. Man, it's tough what's left on the board.
Yeah.
I think here
there's like no separation for me really between a lot of these.
Not really. I think I'm going to go And again, I just fucking love this movie. There is no other reason why I'm picking it here. That's Solo a Star
I was
Wars.
going to say, I was about to copy paste it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check out our commentary on this one. Really fun.
I don't know what it is, but I was a little bit afraid, similar to what you just said about Maul with Han Solo. Are we still going to like him? His whole thing was the mystery, and is what he's saying bullshit, or is it real? Did he really do the Parsec run and, or the Kessel run and that fast and all these things? And it's the mystery around him that makes him such a cool character. And I was afraid that Solo would flush him out too much to where it's like, oh, well, he's not as cool anymore.
Also,
I think not do that.
Everyone, and give Alden Ehrenreich credit, man. I know that like career-wise, you got to take this job, but who the fuck wants to be the person to play Han Solo after Harrison Ford? Like, is that not a suicide mission? What do you? No one's gonna be like, that was better than Harrison. Like, there's no fucking chance. And he did it, and he kind of did his own thing with it, which doesn't really make sense if you think about like the timeline of events. But I don't know what else he's gonna do. But I thought he was very serviceable in the movie. I don't think he was incredible, but he definitely, like, it could have been way worse. And
yeah,
he was fighting a losing battle.
Right. It wasn't as bad as it could have been.
And I love Dryden Voss in it. I love some Paul Bettany.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm excited.
Everything about it worked. All right, Banner, what is your second to last pick, or as Nate Thurman likes to say, your penultimate pick after Solo: A Star Wars Story?
Man, this is tough. I'm going between two things here.
I think I know what you're going to go with, but I won't say it.
I think, again, because this explores the universe more than anything else aside from the Clone Wars, and I'm going to go with Rebels here. This is a great family. Like, it's about a family, even though they aren't obviously blood related. Mm-hmm. But this really shows what the Empire is doing and why the rebellion is so important, and why they need to have the rebellion overthrow the Empire.
I mean, for me, it's probably my favorite era of Star Wars. Like, if you go back to the timelines and like kind of where they're telling these stories, just that time between like the rise of the Empire and I guess like in the original trilogy where you sort of see like them, like they have full control over the galaxy. I think like watching that happen in the early formation of the rebellion is a really, really cool time. That's why I like Andor so much as well, just because it's really interesting, like the sort of like guerrilla warfare that the rebellion has to start with, and just seeing them like try to recruit people where you think it would be obvious. Everybody would be like, yeah, let's stand up to this fascist regime, but people are fucking scared to death of the Empire because it's at its height of its power, which is cool.
All right, what you got?
All right, man. Damn. I'm looking at our live action shows, and there's one that is by far the worst for me, and the others are just all kind of middling. I liked certain things about them, but not really enough to like put them on my team here. I mean, I don't think anyone's surprised by this. I'm not touching the sequel trilogy. I'll die first. I think I've hated those movies more as time has gone on. So I'm going to go with a movie that had way more emotional stakes than I thought it ever would. And it's just really well done. And you got me onto the Star Wars animated movies or shows, and I love them. And I'm going to go with The Bad Batch. Did this run for 3 seasons?
3 seasons, yeah. And again, I can't argue with you here. Again, it shows us another side of the universe, and obviously the fallout of what happened to clones as they got replaced with stormtroopers, and the Empire came back. Again, just a really great story of how the Empire treated the clones and what happened there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the character is really unique. The concept is really unique. And again, dealing with like after Order 66, the way that the Empire just immediately fucking kicked the clones to the curb is not only really fucked up, but just really interesting how it plays out, because it is kind of wild. All right.
What are you rounding your team out with?
Last pick here. Damn. So I think I'm going to go with this just because of its quotability. How much I probably quote it every day when I'm taking a piss, just to myself. Has probably my not the best character in my opinion, but just my favorite character in like prime Palpatine. And I'm gonna go with episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I know its memification has helped it since, but that's part of it, right? That's part of its legacy.
That's part of the impact that we talked about on our criteria too.
Yeah.
And that third act, that lightsaber scene, I still like Duel of the Fates better, but between Anakin and Obi-Wan is a very, very close second.
Let's say this: Duel of the Fates has really no emotional gravitas that it has to hold up. It's just fucking epic beyond comprehension. I don't know the name of it, but the score on Mustafar, it makes you want to cry, basically, while you're watching that fight, which is what it was supposed to do. The tip of the cap.
Man, you didn't leave me with much here.
No. Yeah, because we took all the animated shows.
Yeah, and we took all the good movies.
I'm not really surprised that those all got drafted. I know some people in certain drafts here might be. If we had a third person in this, to be honest, our teams would be dog shit. We'd probably have to shrink them a little bit.
Yeah, we definitely would. I think with this one, I'm gonna apologize to everybody if you guys can hear my dog barking. She's super annoying.
I can't, but she sounds cute.
Okay, good.
She's probably telling you what to pick, and she's saying stay away from Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I'm not touching I'm not touching the trilogy. I think I'm gonna go with Ahsoka, and that is purely because she is my favorite character in all of the Star Wars universe.
And ties into Rebels, which you just drafted.
Yep, ties into Rebels very well. I think the second season is going to tie into Rebels even more. But I think while this is not the best live action show that there is by any means, I do think it was serviceable.
There were some really high highs in Ahsoka.
There were some low lows, though.
Yeah, there were. I am not as big of a Rebels fan as you, so like the big reveal of maybe I shouldn't say, but some Rebels characters showing up in it. Is it a spoiler that Thrawn is in this?
At this point, it's been out long enough. It's not.
Okay. I like seeing Thrawn because even though I don't think his novels are canon anymore, I haven't read all of them, but he's come up in a few that I've read, and he's supposed to be like the most legendary Star Wars novel villain that they created for the books, who became canon. But I don't know if the stories in that are. But it was cool to see him in this.
They did a great job with him, with his reveal. You knew it was coming. It was just a matter of when. All the stuff with Baylan Skoll and his apprentice is really intriguing, and I'm excited for the future. I'm obviously devastated that Ray Stevenson passed away.
Yeah.
He can't reprise his role, but again, Ahsoka is my favorite character, mainly from the Clone Wars and her as an apprentice and what happened with her and her fallout with the Jedi, and kind of then she has to find her place in the world where she was only ever a soldier. And this to me is she found her calling. This is what she's supposed to do. And that is what kind of the show Ahsoka is to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a nice pocket of the canon that hadn't been explored that much. And she is, Filoni created her, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, of all the things he's done, I think she is, like you said, his crown jewel, his greatest accomplishment. All right, let's read off the teams. I have A New Hope, Rogue One, The Mandalorian, Return of the Jedi, Maul Shadow Lord, The Bad Batch, and Revenge of the Sith. And then Banner, you have Phantom Menace, The Clone Wars show, Andor, Empire, Solo, Rebels, and Ahsoka. I gotta say, we both have very balanced teams.
I think what's more interesting is what was left off. We only have 3 of the 7 live action shows made the rosters.
Yeah, so for people at home, just scorekeeping. Book of Boba Fett, not drafted. Obi-Wan Kenobi, not drafted. The Acolyte not drafted, and then Skeleton Crew not drafted. Banner, would you work out any of those shows to possibly make them an undrafted free agent contract offer?
I think possibly. I think all of them have their strengths. Skeleton Crew was extremely cute, more kidsy than anything else, and to
like
me,
Goonies, yeah,
it was kind of Goonies. It didn't quite fit Star Wars. While it was good, I enjoyed it. To me, it wasn't really Star Wars.
yeah.
The Acolyte, I think, got a bad rap. I think it was actually better than what it was when it originally came out. Now there's rumors they may take that out of canon. But again, high highs, low lows, kind of like, what the fuck are we doing? Obi-Wan Kenobi, I wanted to love this show so bad, and it just fell on its face. I think that some of the emotional stuff when Obi-Wan and Vader meet, it takes away from A New Hope when they meet, in my opinion. And then Book of Boba Fett, I mean, it's Mandalorian season 2.5, right? It's not really its own show.
See, you're absolutely right, but I actually loved that about it.
I didn't hate it either. I actually, in preparation for the new movie coming out, I went and spot watched a few episodes, and I had to go into Book of Boba Fett to watch a couple of stuff, because I mean, there's some very, very important stuff with the Mandalorian and Grogu that happened in that show.
Oh, like all the Darksaber stuff gets like concluded in that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, when you leave after season 2, the Mandalorian and Grogu are separated. Grogu went with Luke to go get trained as a Jedi. If you just go straight into season 3, you're like, wait, they're back together? How the fuck did that happen?
Right.
Well, it happened in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I just felt bad for Boba Fett that like his show got hijacked halfway through, but he is, I guess, another example of the character who is less interesting the more we learn about him.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Tamir Morrison, because I think he is very capable and is normally put in roles where he can succeed, but that was too much of a load for him to carry.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they wanted to do a Boba Fett show, and they realized halfway through, we don't have enough stuff here to actually do a show.
Right.
And so how can we make this more successful as well? Let's bring in the Mandalorian because he's awesome.
Yeah. Can't argue with any of that logic.
Real quick, how do you feel about Attack of the Clones just missing out? Obviously, we both stated we weren't going to touch the sequel trilogy, and we didn't. But it's the only live action movie that didn't make the cut other than the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, which, I mean, you basically can't even count. I was between that and Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, ultimately, Palpatine is so fun in Revenge of the Sith for me, even though like there are like obviously a lot of flaws with it, like the Anakin stuff. Although, and again, maybe it's just because we're such prequel heads. Every time I rewatch Sith, though, I'm like, you know what? This isn't as bad as, like, his character turn is not as abrupt as I originally thought it was.
No, and I think the only, my biggest knock on it is the end when he actually turns into Vader and they go, oh, they didn't make it. No.
Right.
That is a very, very, very low to me. But if you just don't watch that part, it's great.
It's kind of hard to not watch that part, though. If you just stick your head in the fucking sand during that was just George Lucas being George Lucas.
It was.
All right, I'm pleased with these teams. Comment below and let us know whose draft you think went better. This is clearly what I like about this is like our Star Wars take. Like, we're not trying to please necessarily the populace, because we probably won't do that. But I do think staying away from the sequel trilogy was something I expected both of us to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think the movies that got drafted were going to get drafted, whether it was your team or whether it was my team.
Yeah.
But man, that 4 through 7 got real interesting there.
Yeah, there was a big drop off. I would, if it was a real draft, I would try to trade back.
Let me ask you this: is there anybody on my team that you're like, fuck, I really want to do?
I was really hoping to get Solo late. But again, being in a fantasy draft with you, like, if you know another guy also likes a player, you got to reach for him sometimes. So I didn't have high hopes for getting that. Phantom Menace, I was hoping to get that in like maybe the third round, but your prequel love is something that I wasn't quite prepared for.
You underestimated my power.
Yeah. Oh, nice. How about likewise for you? Anything on my team that you were like, man?
You took Rogue One much higher than I thought you were going to.
Yeah.
So I was shocked by that one. I thought Rogue One I was going to get in like maybe the fourth round. But obviously you took it as your number 2 pick, which is, again, I can't fault it, especially when A New Hope is your number 1 pick. I will also say that A New Hope, shall I had gotten the first pick, A New Hope would have been my number 1 overall draft pick as well.
Good taste.
You can't not pick that, because if that movie wasn't a success,
we're not even talking about this right now.
None of this would happen. We'd be talking about Indiana Jones and some other stupid shit.
With Maul Shadow Lord getting it at 5, some people might be like, that's a reach. And again, recency bias for sure. I kind of feel like that's a good value there. The 5th pick. I mean, I got ahead of the Bad Batch, which I really, really like too. But I feel like Maul Shadow Lord in like 2 years could be like maybe viewed as like almost on the level of the Clone Wars in terms of the animated shows.
See, and I agree with you. I think that Maul, you're drafting on potential at that point. Great how you pick at 5. I mean, if you had to solely go on what this first season was, I think you have to flip-flop Maul and Bad Batch. But if you think of the potential and where this is going and where, I mean, this will be spoilers for Maul. Skip ahead 30 seconds if you haven't seen it. But we know at some point this is going to match up with Solo, right? Or it has the potential to, which I would think that would be awesome if they matched up with Solo and then went past Solo even.
Yeah.
Maybe we get a animated Kira in there or something. Would be cool.
Well, to me, Solo, that's why I kept having to ask you, canon-wise, where is this? Because the end of Solo almost just tees up like an even more interesting Maul arc. You know, although I say that and then I see what they're doing with this show and I'm like, well, fuck, never mind. This is pretty damn interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're maybe 7 years between the beginning of Maul and where we meet up at Solo. So a decent run for things to happen with Mr. Maul there.
Definitely. All right, Banner. Ready to move on to the second part of our show.
Let's do it.
Our protein shake, where we go around and talk about what's in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. I think I'm only going to talk about 2 things. First, though, let me tease a movie commentary that is now up on our channel. We went back, you, Cycly, and myself, and watched Toy Story 2 to get ready for, hard to believe, Toy Story 5 coming out later this year.
Gross.
Banner, anything you want to tease about our trip back to Al's Toy Barn?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to reiterate that Woody isn't a good guy. I'm not going to go on to say he's necessarily a bad guy, but he's definitely not a good guy. And that was really, if it wasn't evident in the first one, they doubled down on it in the second one, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we knew he was an asshole in the first one. You would hope that it was a little bit of growth as a character.
Himself a little bit.
Yeah, but not really. He's just kind of a dick again in the second one. All right, Banner, I'll toss to you first. What's in your cup, or what have you watched lately?
So as I mentioned earlier, I kind of went back. You guys know I like to prepare whenever I know I'm going out for, like a new Marvel movie or a new Star Wars movie. I like to catch up on what was happening and all the stuff before. So I went and I spot checked a few Mandalorian episodes. I cherry picked some of my favorites. Again, just reiterating what we talked about earlier, it's a really good show. It's really well done. Even Lucasfilms didn't realize how much everybody was going to fall in love with Grogu, which it sounds stupid. It's a baby Yoda. Like, come on. Of course it's going to be cute. Everybody loves Yoda.
And I don't even care that they made it to sell toys. Like, who gives a shit? It's cute as shit. Like,
yeah, it's adorable. And I think that they're really did a good job of growing that relationship between the Mandalorian and Grogu, which is why I'm actually excited for this movie. I think on our preview show, this was most anticipated as well as biggest flop. So
it's a scary combination.
It's a scary combination that you're getting the possibility of both ends of the spectrum. So I just wanted to go into it, making sure I really understood the characters and that, I wasn't going to be let down or like trying to remember what was going on when I go to see it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that too because I am a little hazy on where we last left Din Djarin and Grogu, what they were setting off to do, which I'm sure they'll catch up on quickly in the movie. But I'm the same way as you. I don't like to go in blind. I want to be prepped.
All right, what you got?
I watched Daredevil Born Again season 2.
Okay.
Have you been watching this?
I haven't yet. I needed a little bit of a break after season 1. It's intense.
It is.
So I need a little bit of a break.
That does not change here. It is probably more intense. And this is not a spoiler, but people die in this season. Like several characters. No one is really safe. Kingpin is out of fucking control. And I know that they said, or at least during season 1, it was like, yes, this is in the MCU, but we're going to kind of try and not, be so heavily reliant on MCU events. And this one is not at all, but definitely like references them, and you can tell like this is connected. And there are lots of, to varying degrees of size, but there are storylines that are weaving in and out and sort of like minor references to a lot of other things, to where it's just kind of cool because it doesn't weigh you down with like, fuck, all right, do I have to go watch Thunderbolts now or something? But it is in the same universe, and they do acknowledge that, and the stories like do affect each other, but not in a way that you have homework to do, which was what was becoming the problem with the Marvel Disney Plus shows.
For sure. Do they acknowledge that the Netflix shows are, I guess, in the MCU now? Is that? Do. Yeah, I was going to say, is that affirmed now?
Definitely, and I think it's in the trailer, so it's not much of a spoiler. But characters reappear. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah, I know.
Plural.
I know at least one reappears because one is in the trailer.
Yeah, maybe we get some more.
We'll
just have to tune in and find out.
Find out.
This one sets up knowing like Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming out soon, and he's also sort of considered a street level hero in the MCU, and Kingpin has referenced him multiple times. I mean, I'm pretty confident that Daredevil is in Spider-Man Brand New Day, even though Charlie Cox has, of course, denied it. But there is a really, really obvious and organic way to weave him into the movie. And from the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, I'm like pretty sure they're pretty much spoon feeding it to us. So I'm really excited about that.
Nice
as well.
Yeah, this is one that I need to check out. But I just a couple weeks ago finished Born Again season 1, and it was intense. So I needed a little palate cleanser.
Yeah, I would not jump right in. Take your time. All right, that's all I'm going to say I got this week. You got anything else?
I got one other thing. Me and the wife are watching. Super easy watch. Stupidly funny. Running Point on Netflix.
My wife just finished all these episodes, so I was like half watching it.
Yeah, it's just a silly, fun show. It doesn't move the needle one way or another. There are parts that are like, this is so fucking dumb, I'm laughing. There are other parts where you're like, this is just fucking dumb. But the silliness and the fun outweigh the dumbness, and it's a good show. It's fun. So, did you ever watch Santa Clarita Diet?
No, you did reference. That's the Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
Is it Timothy Olyphant?
Timothy Olyphant, yeah.
Does this have the same sort of like
same
DNA
vibe
energy?
Yeah, same vibes. Like, doesn't take itself too seriously, but also kind of wants to be a little serious. Isn't taking a stance on anything. Just pure entertainment, harmless entertainment.
To me, that's the running point is the perfect level of self-aware, where like it knows it's not some great show, but it's also stupid enough, like unintentionally, I think, that you can still sort of laugh at it and enjoy it. But it's also like competently enough made and has interesting enough characters, even though they're like sort of caricatures of real life people, that the humor comes from that pretty easily. Like Justin Theroux, I think, is fucking hilarious in everything he's in. And his character in this is utterly absurd. Like when he's trying to pass that drug test.
Oh my God. So funny.
Yeah. Ike Barinholtz pops up. He's always awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, finished that. Recommend it. All right, that's all I got.
I was shocked to see Ray Romano in this, which is cool, fun.
His character was hilarious as well.
He's not in it enough, though, I gotta say, especially for being the coach of the team. I'm like, can we get some more fucking Ray Romano up in this bitch?
When he's arguing with the ref about whether it was a charge or not, I was cracking up so hard.
Yeah, that was great. And then the season I mean, no spoilers again, but ends on my wife was like, what? It was kind of an audible gasp. No, she's not like that invested, but they went for it. These shows I love when they're trashy and they're like, every single season finale, especially, we're just going to throw crazy shit at you to get you to come back to the next season.
And you know what? It's working because they got another season that's coming out.
And God damn it, I'll watch it.
100%.
All right, that brings us to the last part of our show.
Lift, bro?
And that very subdued bird saying, "Do you even lift, bruh?" is also referencing the title of our last segment, Brian. It is our question and answer segment. Do you even lift, bruh? And today we continue the overarching question of our podcast for about the last 2.5 years. What are the bros' top 100 movies of all time? The list that we have been counting down is linked in the description of this episode and on our website, broforcequad.com. Brian, before we get into it and we are in the nitty-gritty, how would you describe these lists to people of our top 100? Because they're not sort of like our Star Wars draft. It's not like the finest pieces of cinema that we've ever explored. It's a little more unique to our movie sensibilities.
Yeah, this is my top 100. There are movies that are in this list. There are some that are embarrassingly high on this list that I just like the movie. Doesn't mean that it's a good movie. Doesn't mean that it's this, top 100 movies of all time. That's not the list. It's my list. Perfect example. Is it Rush Hour 2? Horns.
Yeah.
First DVD he ever had. Made the list because it was the first DVD he ever had. Had nostalgia to it.
It's at number 84. Geiger had Gladiator there, so that kind of tells you where we're at. Who's to say what the better movie is?
Who's to say?
Who? No one knows. All right, Brian. Like I said, shit's getting serious. We are now down to each of our number 17 movies of all time. We're the first two on the pod to get here, so uncharted territory. At number 18, I had the Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen movie 50-50, and you had American History X. Speaking of heavy subject matter, what do you have right ahead of American History X at number 17?
This is one of the greatest Westerns of all time. That's Tombstone.
Nice.
Check out our movie commentary on that. It's just a great fucking Western. It has everything you want. It's got drama. It's got some comedy. It's got gunfights. It's got great
insane cast.
lines. Yeah, an insane cast that everybody knows their role. I mean, this is the perfect example of nobody did too much. They did just what they needed to do.
Also really depressing at times, which, I mean, it works because that means you care about the characters.
Yeah, again, like I said, it has it all. It's got literally everything that you want in a movie. Some of the parts you laugh, some parts you cry. I mean, it runs the gamut. And again, just one of the best Westerns ever made.
I wonder, Probably not. But Nate Thurman is also a big Western head. I wonder if he will have a Western ahead of you at number 17.
I gotta feel like he's got to. I know he's a big fan of Westerns, so I feel like he's got a couple sitting in his back pocket.
Yeah. He might drop one on us. All right. Joining Tombstone at number 17 is a movie for me that I've probably watched this thing 40 times, maybe 50. And it is Cycly's feel-good movie when he's having a bad day or things are going rough. He throws this on to cheer himself up. And that is the 1992 animated Aladdin. Of course, with the iconic and legendary performance of the genie by Robin Williams and some incredible songs. Absolute bangers. Prince Ali is on my workout playlist. And I encourage everyone to put it on theirs as well.
Dude, great fucking pick.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. This is also on Nate Thurman's list at 77.
That's great to see. And I shouldn't have teased that with Cycly because it's probably coming up on his at some point.
It's got to be. I mean, again, I don't think that's a secret, though. I think all of our feel-good movies are still yet to come, right?
Yeah. And again, we're not fucking around anymore. We're in the top 20.
This is real shit here.
Aladdin is also one of those movies where it's like, the joke is coming from Robin Williams, and just so many times I will always laugh at it. Like the beginning when he is in disguise and he's starting to tell you the story of Aladdin, and he does the fart noise with the fry maker. I laugh every fucking time.
Every time. And like you said, bangers of songs, man.
Oh yeah. And Prince Ali is just the one that jumps to the top of mine. But I mean, A Whole New World, is that maybe the most iconic Disney song of all time? It's up there.
It's up there.
For sure.
Maybe Part of Your World from Little Mermaid. But
yeah, and now I would say maybe Let It Go has gotten up there as well.
Yeah. But I mean, that's great company to be in.
All right. Brian, what do you want to leave the people with? Words of advice, words of wisdom for episode 264. We're changing the world here. So, I mean, what do we part ways with saying to them?
It's the same thing I've been preaching for years now, almost a decade now. Okay. Pull over for emergency vehicles, guys. Summer's coming up. People are going on road trips. Let's not be fucking stupid on the road. Okay. Let's abide by the laws. Like 5 to 8 over, perfectly fine. As Cycly says, just make sure that if you're going slower, that you're not in the left lane. Let's have a good driving summer, guys. You don't know who's in the back of that ambulance, or maybe it's your house that is getting broke into, and that's where the cop is going to save your shit.
Yeah, because your neighbor called in because she's always fucking looking out the window at your house. Beth.
God, fucking Beth.
Mind your own goddamn business. Don't you have enough cats to worry about in there? Speaking of neighbors, I just moved recently, and I am very excited to see if my neighborhood has what kind of social media they're working with. You know what I've never had in my neighborhood, and I've lived vicariously through several people that have these, is a neighborhood Facebook group where people post like comments and questions. I've only ever had like Nextdoor and like the Ring app. So I'm losing the Ring app where I'm at because we got a different security system, but I'm very, very hopeful that there is a Facebook group that I can join just for the utter ridiculousness that people are going to put on there.
Ours, like, there's a mediator now, and everything has to go through that person before it gets posted because it's getting so ridiculous.
You know what I love about that, though? Who the fuck has that job?
Right? We don't even have an HOA. It's an optional HOA. So who's actually paying that?
Like, who proactively wants to do that, to like observe comments on like it's talk about the type of people that have no life. That person is like the king of the no life people.
At least the king of something.
I guess it's true. King of something. All right, for the mad scientist Brian Banner, I am the mayor, Jeff Hornacek. We have been the Bro 4 Squad podcast. Find everything we've posted on our website, bro4squad.com. We have our squad blog there. The top 100 list we just counted down is linked at the top as well. And we just have a kind of a running, like last 3 things we posted at the top. You can also find all of our content by typing in Bro Force Squad as 3 separate words on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, anywhere you find your podcasts, you'll find us there. Guys, till next time, let's go out there and explore a galaxy far, far away. Just see what's out there.
You never know.
Get on Yelp and find the good cantinas. Nice hole in the wall place where they play the same song over and over again.